Alright, so now that we got WordPress installed, I want to give you a 1,000-foot overview of how WordPress works, and we'll kind of go through everything with a 1,000-foot view, and then in future videos we're going to dive into specific areas in this video so you can understand everything more. Now, what I want you to first understand is we actually now have a website. So remember, we first registered our domain name, we then got our hosting, we then connected our domain to our hosting, then we went into our hosting and installed WordPress. That actually put a website up for our domain, right? So now when people go to our domain name, there's going to be a website there because we installed WordPress. WordPress is where we build our website. So if I go over and I type in our domain name and I hit enter, what's going to happen is our website as it currently appears is going to show up. But this is our website. Now, a lot of this is just kind of generic WordPress stuff they put in here just when you first start your website, just as like filler. We're going to go in and change all this stuff and create a website throughout this series, but this is now currently our website, and we'll do a great job of fixing this up and making it look much better. So let's go back to the dashboard here, and again, I want to give you that 1,000-foot overview of WordPress so you can understand how it works, and then again, we're going to dive deeper into many of these things that I'm going to be talking about here. So the first thing you're going to see up here is actually HostGator, and this is a plugin which we'll talk about in just a little bit. The main thing you'll see is the dashboard, and the dashboard is basically just where you can take a look at everything going on with your site, from like your comments you're getting and your site health and how many posts and pages you have and all the activity going on, stuff like that. And a lot of the times in my dashboard I pay attention to updates because I always like to keep my themes and my plugins up to date because that prevents hacking. A lot of the times if you don't update your themes and your plugins, it prevents holes that hackers find where they can get in your website and destruct things. So I always make sure I keep things up to date, and I'll show you an easy way to keep your plugins updated automatically once we get to that section. So a few of these things I'm going to point out are actually plugins that were pre-installed by WordPress through HostGator, and basically what that means is HostGator automatically installed these with the WordPress installation. So you won't see these with all WordPress installations. It depends on the host with what they install. So I want to show you those now. This one right here, HostGator, this is the HostGator plugin. Jetpack, which basically helps your site perform better. Opt-in Monster, which is basically a tool you can use to create opt-in forms on your website, collect emails and things like that. Creative Mail, kind of same type of thing there where it works with Opt-in Monster likely. WP Forms, likely the same type of thing where you can easily create forms on your website. And that's what plugins do. Plugins are meant to create easy features on your site. So if you need anything out there for your website, instead of going and hiring a coder to code it for you, likely there's already a WordPress plugin for it. So you can just go look for the plugin, install it, activate it, and then with a snap of a finger, you can do that thing by using the plugin, which is like an add-on to WordPress. Okay, so that's the beauty of plugins, and that's why WordPress is so powerful. So the next one will be Yoast SEO, which usually isn't automatically installed. I would have installed this anyways, so it's cool they installed it for me, but we would have easily installed this as an add-on plugin. And if you're lost right now, don't worry. We're going to go into more of this stuff, and it will click. I promise you. I'm going to go step by step. I'm just giving you an overview right now, and then we'll dive in deeper to each of these things. So if you're a little confused right now, don't worry. We'll get you up to speed, I promise. And if I scroll down here, the last one is Loganizer Security. This is also a plugin. So if you remember, when I went to install WordPress, I clicked that one box that said limit login attempts. That's this plugin. So if I didn't click that box there, this would not be here because it's an add-on plugin that I asked for them to install. All the other ones were automatically installed. They installed them without even asking me, okay? I could take them off if I wanted by going to the plugin section and uninstalling them. No need to do that. We'll cover that once we get to the plugins. But I just want you to know that this, Loganizer Security, Yoast SEO, WP Forms, Creative Mail, Opt-in Monster, Jetpack, and the one up there, HostGator, they're all plugins, okay? Everything else you see is going to be on every installation of WordPress you do, and I'm going to go through those now. So again, the first one's Dashboard. We kind of covered that one already. The next one is Post. Now, Post and Pages are kind of the same thing. And you'll see a lot of distinguishing between post and pages and when you should use each. My basic rule is I use pages when I'm creating like a page, like an about page or like a page on anything. If I'm creating like a blog, then I usually use post. And that's kind of how I differentiate the two. But technically, you can use all posts, you can use all pages. It doesn't matter which you use. The only difference really is with post, you can add categories and tags. which I don't even use anymore. A lot of people don't. So if you get to a stage where you're worried about, should I use Pages, should I use Post, don't worry. They both typically do the same thing. They're going to get you the same SEO results. I'm just going to show you how to use each differently as far as making your website appear in a different way. Okay, so, but when it comes to these two, they're basically doing the same thing, where Post and Pages are both how you put content up on your website. We'll be diving into each of those in depth. Media is where any of your images or videos or things like that are uploaded. So once you upload images and videos and all that to your Post or Pages, it will be in your media library, and you can go access it through this link here. Again, we'll get into that more. Comments, or anyone that's leaving a comment on your website. Most comments you get with WordPress are actually going to be spam. There is many different plugins that can automatically get rid of spammy comments, so we can install those later on. Comments is basically any comment you get on your website. Just know most comments you get will be spam unless you have a spam blocking plugin installed. Let's see, appearance. This is where we're going to change the look of our website and change our theme. Okay, now a theme of a website is basically like the overall look of it. And there's thousands of free themes out there. We're going to dive deep into themes, and I'll show you exactly how to change up how your website looks in that theme video. Next, we have plugins. This is the kind of the holy grail of WordPress. This is what makes WordPress so powerful. You heard me talk about it a little bit with the plugins that were already installed, but plugins are, again, why WordPress is so powerful. It enables you to have certain things like that because there's millions of plugins out there that do all types of things. Whereas usually, if you have a regular website back in the day, you would have to go and hire a coder to do something, right? If I wanted an opt-in form on my website to collect emails, I would have to have someone code that or sign up for a service and then get the code and then install it on my site manually. Well, now with WordPress, you can simply install a plugin. You can go to the plugin and go to the dashboard and have point-and-click stuff with your forms, and it's automatically automated into WordPress, so it makes things very easy, right? So that's why plugins are like the lifeblood of WordPress, because there's just so many out there that you can do so much stuff with. So I'll have a video specifically on plugins, and we'll cover all that. Users. Now this is where you can add different users to your website with different permissions. So if you want to, for example, bring someone onto your team who's a content editor, well, you can add a new user, make their role only be for, accessing content, where they can't do anything else in your WordPress account. They can't change anything. They can only access and edit content, and that's how you can implement the user section, add new users, and have them be assigned to certain things. And we'll cover that in a video as well. Then you got tools. I don't use tools a ton. Sometimes there's important plugins that show up in the tools section that I'll use. Particularly all of this stuff you see in the tools section, I don't use a ton, and I use WordPress all the time. So tools I probably won't go into that much. Lastly, we have settings. We'll be using this a good bit. Settings is where we can change like our URL structure, like how our URLs are set up, the headline of our website, what shows on our website as far as like the home page and things like that. But we'll go into all the setting stuff in its own video as well. So that's like a 1,000-foot overview of WordPress and how it works. Again, next we're going to be going deeper into how each of these specific sections work. Like I'll definitely cover posts and pages and plugins and themes and appearance and settings, and then we'll kind of bring this all together. So again, if you're feeling lost, you're like, man, this is too much for me, trust me, it's very, very simple once you learn a few things. And then once you learn those things, you're going to have the power to create a nice looking website that is SEO optimized like that people will actually pay you for. Just so you're going to know more than 99% of the world here in just about an hour once you get through some of these videos, and you're going to have a lot of power at your hands. So let's jump on into the next video. Let's dive deeper into WordPress.